So what is going on, guys? My name's Ash and welcome back to a brand new video on the channel today. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day so far. In today's video we're going to be covering something which is highly requested on my channel, and I'm not exactly sure why. One of the most common comments that I receive on my videos are what are the camera settings that I use and what are the controller settings that I use. So I'm going to be going over that in this video today so I don't have to keep answering to people asking the same question. I would also like to thank you guys real quick for all the support on the recent videos. I know I took a huge break last year, but some of the amount of views and likes and comments we've got on recent videos is amazing, and our sub count has started to rise again, so thank you guys so much for that. On the back of that, if you guys aren't already subscribed, I would appreciate it if you could now subscribe if you are interested in these types of videos, because it would really help me out, and hopefully it will help you guys out too in improving your game on FIFA, and hopefully it's just entertaining for you guys to watch sometimes as well. Also, drop a like on the video if you don't mind, as it helps this video get boosted and put into the algorithm. And yeah, thank you guys so much for your support. It really means a lot. So like I said, today guys, we're going to be going over our camera settings and our controller settings. I'm sorry this video is a bit late in the night for those of you in England and stuff. It's just I've had a really busy day at university. I've only just eaten, and I'm a little bit bloated as well, so you know, I had to delay it a bit. I am sorry. It should be going up around 9 o'clock hopefully, but yeah, with all that aside, let's get right into it. So first off, we're going to take a look at our controller settings. Some of these are pretty standard, some of these are pretty obvious, others, you know, people decide what they like and what they don't like. I'll just be showing you guys what I prefer to use and what I don't. So first off guys, I like to hide the FIFA trainer because I don't need it. I know what I'm doing, I know all of the controls, and obviously having that on will get in the way of your gameplay, and it is really annoying. Like, I can't remember what skill it is. It's like where you click in the right stick, it might just be a flick up. Usually that activates the trainer if you have it on show, and that is really annoying, and we don't want that. So I do suggest you guys having that off if you are quite comfortable with the controls already. Obviously, if you're new to the game and you do need some extra assistance on what to do, how to like pass the ball and stuff in certain ways, like a chip through ball, maybe have it on because it can be really useful for you. Now, next one is quite controversial already, and that is timed finishing. Now, a lot of you guys know that this mechanic was introduced in FIFA 19, and it was quite a vital, pun intended, mechanic that was added to the game. Like, you pretty much needed it to score in most instances. I'm pretty sure you guys remember how overpowered the timed finesse shots were at the start of the year and how easy they were to do. That's not really the case this year. Like last year, I would suggest, you know, timing all of your shots and stuff. This year, not so much. I feel like it's mainly for like long shots and the occasional finesse shot or whatever, but I don't suggest you guys using this anywhere near as much as what you were last year, because what they've done this year, guys, is they've actually nerfed the amount of time you have to time the shot. So if it's slightly early, or if it's slightly early, then you'll either yellow it or you'll red it, and it's not green, and it won't go where you want it to. So it can be very ineffective. And also, guys, have actually reduced the amount of accuracy and power that timing your shots adds to the original shot, so it's not really worth it over just, you know, pressing shoot. But that being said, guys, I do suggest still keeping it on if you do want to time, you know, the occasional long shot or whatever, because it can still give you the edge over an opponent if you do time it correctly. But like I said, that is completely optional, and you guys can, you know, put what you please on, to be honest. Second defender switch icon. I don't really know what this does. I think it just shows like an icon to who you're switching to or whatever, or the second defender. It might be the AI controlled defender. This one isn't really important, but if you're interested to see who your second defender is that's pressing and whatever, just keep it on. But this doesn't really make much of a difference. It's just more of like a visual thing. I just leave it on because it doesn't really bother me at all. Some people have it off, but that is their choice. Now, pass block assistance. This one is a definite must to have on, because what this does is it allows your AI controlled players on your team to automatically block and intercept passes when the ball is near them. If you have that off, you're basically just putting yourself at an immediate disadvantage, because why wouldn't you want your players to block the passes and stuff automatically? You can only control one player on the pitch at a time, and it's impossible to cover every single passing lane with the player controlled player. So unless you're a really hardcore FIFA player and you really want to do everything manual, I definitely suggest having this on, because there's pretty much no other, there's no reason not to, and you'll be at a huge disadvantage if you do decide to turn this off. So definitely have this on, guys. Now for auto switching, there's a few different options that you can use, but there's only really one that I find to be effective, or maybe two, but I feel like this one is the best. I have this on air balls and loose balls. So what this does, guys, is when the ball is like chipped up or crossed or whatever, that is when it will automatically switch to a nearby defender. But any other like pass or like interception or whatever, it's all about you. Like you have to switch automatically by using like the right stick or L1 or LB or whatever, and it really enables you to be more tactical with your defending, because if you have it on auto switching all the time, you know, you could be in the middle of intercepting a pass, like cutting the passing lane or whatever, and it will switch your player to someone that is near the attacker, and it can really screw you up. Air balls aren't quite important because it's pretty much impossible to immediately switch to the player that is being you know, like when the ball is being crossed. So I definitely suggest having that on because it is very, very useful. And obviously loose balls means if there's like a very weak pass or an overhit pass or something, a player will automatically be switched to, so you can go and retrieve that ball, which is very useful. Occasionally it can be annoying if you don't want your player to go chasing after the ball, but yeah, it's good to have it on because it is a very useful setting. Some people do decide to have it on auto, especially if they're new to the game, because they struggle to switch. That's fine, but it doesn't allow you to grow as a player and be as tactical in defending as you need. So I definitely suggest you guys trying to use air balls and loose balls at the very least if you can. Some people decide to use manual, so everything that you do is like you have to do everything pretty much. No like auto switching at all. Like it won't switch for a loose ball and it won't switch for a cross, which can be very, very annoying and hard to defend because it's very difficult to read a cross and switch automatically. So I suggest you guys do leave this on air balls and loose balls to give you guys the best chance in defense. Now auto switching move assistance, some people like to have it low, some people have it high, and I have it none. When you have it high, it will basically it will give you time to, I don't really know what it does. It basically automatically chooses the direction of the player that is being switched to. So like if you have it on high, the player will continue running in the direction that he was running before you switch to him, so you can't immediately turn around and change the player's direction. If you have it low, it will still do this but not for as long, and if you have none, the moment you switch to him, you are in full control of that player. If you don't like move the player, he will stand still, and if you don't change direction, obviously he'll just stand still as well and carry on. So I suggest you guys have this on none because it gives you full control over the player and will allow you to react much quicker to anything that is going on. If you have it on high, you could be switching to a player and you want to intercept the pass like instantly by like jumping out forward, but your player could still be running back and you can't turn around and change direction instantly like you can if you have it on low or none. So in my opinion, it's best to have this on none or low, but none is preferred, especially with me. Excuse me guys, sorry about that. Now for Jockey, I just like to have this on assisted because, you know, it just lets you stay close to your opponent, and there's no real reason to have it on manual, because if you have it on manual, you're just again putting yourself at an immediate disadvantage because it doesn't help you get close to the player like assisted does. Assisted is still very manual, like you still move the player where you want, but it helps you kind of lock onto the player and stay in line with them a bit more than if you were to have it manual. And if you do have it manual, it can be very difficult to actually intercept a pass because it's so like sensitive in a way, and you have to be like spot on with what you're doing. So definitely have that on assisted, guys. Now for player right stick switching, okay guys, minor setback, sorry, I'm back now. Basically this setting is called right stick switching, and I think it means like the player you're controlling acts as like a center or like a middle point for when it comes to player switching. So like if you have a player in the middle of the pitch that you are controlling, if you flick right on the right stick, it will move to a player that is to the right of you or behind you, depending on what camera you use. So it kind of just acts as like a little pivot point to allow you to control and switch to the different players that you want. I don't really know what the different options are, but I like to keep it on player relative, as it gives you a bit more control over the players you're switching to, as you can like switch in many different directions. Again, that's pretty like optional. You can do what you want with that, really. It doesn't really matter. Pass assistance, guys, I definitely suggest having this on assisted, because it just helps you with the direction and the power, and there's no real reason to have it on manual or semi unless you're extremely confident and hardcore, because again, you're just putting yourself at a disadvantage, and since passing is not great this year, you need all the help you can get, in my opinion. Now through ball assistance, I like to have this on manual, but I know I like to have it on assisted, but I know people that do like to have it on manual. The reason I like to have it on assisted, again, is because it helps like weight the pass, and it helps put the ball in the right direction. Whereas if you had manual and you like put the left stick slightly off, the ball's either going out or not where you want it to, and obviously you have to, you know, hit the right amount of power on the pass as well. So unless you're like a hardcore player that loves playing manual, I don't suggest using it. The same applies for shot assistance. Like, why wouldn't you want the shot direction to always aim towards the goal, unless, again, you're a hardcore FIFA player, because, you know, you're just putting yourself at a disadvantage. So just leave that as it is. Now, cross assistance is a little bit different, because if you have it unassisted, it really limits the crosses you can make, and it's very automated. Like, you don't really get to, you know, cross in the way you want. It will be very fixed, and there's only like a certain amount of outcomes. Whereas if you have it on semi, you can choose the right power, so it gives you a bit more control, so you can like decide if you want to go back post or in the middle of the box or even near post. Whereas if you had it on assisted, you can't do that, because the game just decides which is the best option at the at that time. Again, semi assisted also helps the cross direction, so you know, it does give you quite a lot of control, but it still gives you that assistance that is needed. Manual is very difficult. You have to, you know, pinpoint the direction you want, and obviously you have to, you know, hit the right amount of power, which can be very difficult. So I have this on semi, and that is also the default setting. Now, Lob Pass Assistance, I've been experimenting with this. I don't know whether to have it on manual or assisted, because I feel like if you have it manual, it can really help you with your game, because you can really like pinpoint the lob passes that you want to do, and sometimes if you do it assisted, it doesn't actually always go where you want it to. It's really annoying, but for now I've just left it on assisted, because you know, I'm quite comfortable with that, and I don't want to make things harder than they need to be. Save assistance doesn't really matter, to be honest. That's only if you're playing like as goalkeeper on clubs or something, I believe, so that's not relevant. Now, analog sprint is quite another controversial one. Basically, if you have analog sprint on, the more you hold down the right trigger, the more your player will sprint. But obviously, if you're not pulling the trigger all the way down, you know, your player's not going to be running at full sprint speed. So there's two sides to this. If you have it on, you have more control over the sprint speed of your players, so you can obviously sprint quicker or slower depending on the situation. But if you have it off, you know, your player will be sprinting at full speed all the time. And I prefer that, because obviously I don't actually always press the trigger down fully when I decide to sprint. So obviously if I had analog sprint on, my player wouldn't be running at his maximum speed without me even knowing. So I just decide to have that off because it's easier. Now, defending, definitely use tactical, guys. I don't even think you can use legacy defending online. This is like the new tackling system, the new defending system that everybody uses by default. There's absolutely no reason to change this, guys. You don't want to put legacy defending on. That is the old style, and it's very newbie, and like I said, you can't use it online. But that is what I use for my controller settings, guys. Now, sorry, moving on to the camera settings. This is another you know, big question that I get. And I actually use the co-op camera, guys, and there's a very good reason for this. When you use the co-op camera, it gives you like a full view of like the pitch. Like you can see from side to side, like we're talking width. So like I could see from one wing all the way to the other, which is extremely useful with people playing narrow formations, because you can easily switch the play and you can easily see what is going on the pitch, and you can see where every player is. I know you can do that with the radar, but it's easier to get an actual image of what the, you know, the pitch looks like and where every player is. It gives you like the direction they're running, if they're making runs and stuff, and it can be very useful. So I like to have this on co-op so I can see more of what's going on, and it does give you a visual advantage over somebody that is using like telly, for example, because you can see more than what they can see. So like they might not see a switch of play that you do, so you can cross the ball without it, you know, being intercepted or read by your opponent, and it can really put you in some dangerous positions. Now for the camera height and zoom, I just leave it, you know. I think it's fine. Just use the co-op camera, guys. Like it's perfect as it is. Like I don't really need to change the settings. I feel like if I zoomed it out even more, it'd become pretty impossible to control all my players and see what's going on, because everyone would be tiny. And obviously if I up the height, you know, it gets to this point where you can't actually see what's going on with passes and stuff. I know it sounds stupid, but you can't like see the height of balls and stuff, and it's very difficult to actually play the game. That's just what I've found anyway. I just leave it on default. But yeah, guys, they are the settings that I use. I do apologize that this video has been a little bit long, but I just like to explain, you know, why I use what I use, and I try and justify that for you guys, so you actually get a bit of information about why I do it. But yeah, if you guys have found this video informative or useful, I would appreciate it if you could drop a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you are new so you never miss out on any videos like this one, and also be sure to hit the notification bell so you are notified when a video is posted. And with all that aside, guys, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you all in the next upload. Peace.